My name is Tina Dam. I am the IDN director at ICANN, and we're here at the Sydney meeting. And one of the main topics at this ICANN meeting is the topic of IDNs. So IDNs as top-level domains. And you can get IDNs as top-level domains in two processes, the IDN ccTLD fast track or the IDN gTLDs. The fast track is the process that looks like it's going to start first. We're aiming at the end of this year. And what that means is that countries and territories can apply for their IDN ccTLD, but there's some limitations on it. It's a limited round, it's a fast round. Some of the limitations has to do with the string that you apply for, that becomes the IDN ccTLD, will have to match the country or the territory name that you're applying from. And there's other technical limitations as well. So we've had several sessions actually in Sydney, and we're going to have some for the rest of the week as well that are going to go into the details of those topics. But it's really exciting. Some of the outstanding issues that we have to fix are related to what should the relationship be between ICANN and the IDN ccTLD managers, how do we cover cost, and what do we do with IDN TLD variants. And variants are situations where there can be two strings that actually mean the same thing or look the same way, and all depending on what kind of user you are, you're going to enter either one of them, and you're not necessarily going to know which one you're entering. So you need both of them. For the purpose of discussing all of these topics, ICANN posted a set of documents on everything, proposing solutions. There's a lot of financial details that have been posted to show what kind of cost it is that we need to recover. And so those are the topics we're discussing this week. So what happened between the Mexico meeting and the Sydney meeting was that in Mexico we saw that the community was extremely divided on all of these topics. Some wanted mandatory agreements to be signed and others wanted things to be completely voluntary. And the same thing goes with the fees. Some wanted fees to be voluntary and contributions to made as each country territory was capable of handling, and others wanted a fixed fee so that the costs that are obtained in setting these processes up would be covered. Now what's happened since then is that the community has merged a little bit on it, and ICANN staff have tried to come up with creative solutions that would find like a middle road solution on these hard topics. We're not quite there yet. I think it's going to be, some of the topics are going to be really hard to merge the community on. So we're looking at feedback still, and eventually there's a decision that has to be made so that we can go live by the end of the year. Fees and agreements are sort of more political or policy-oriented topics, but there's also topics of technical nature that are still difficult and has to be managed. The IDNA protocol, which is the underlying structure for how IDNs work, is under revision, and there's been a lot of concerns about whether that revision is finalized or can be finalized in time for these processes to go live. I'm still optimistic that it can. I think it's possible. The next IETF meeting where the protocol revision is taking place is in Stockholm by the end of July, and I hope we're going to see a last call on that standard so we can, launch IDN TLDs with the latest technical standard available. But yeah, so technically there are topics as well. There are questions that we haven't been able to answer. I think far most of that relates to how do we deal with variance. And one of the reasons why we can't really answer it is that we don't have a technical solution for it. So we see a very big need in the community. On the other hand, we need to keep things secure and stable because without stable solutions, users are going to be disadvantaged anyways. So if we're going to go ahead with insecure solutions, we're disadvantaging users. But if we're going to go ahead with no solutions, we're also disadvantaging users. And that's really hard because the whole purpose of IDNs is to make the internet more accessible for the local communities. And it is to get those users comfortable and have easy access to the internet. So, that's really difficult, and it's hard not to be able to come up with a solution for that. So between now, the Sydney meeting, and the Seoul meeting at the end of the year, we need to finalize all the implementation details for the fast track process. And we need to do that so the ICANN board can make their considerations at the Seoul meeting, hopefully with a positive result. And if that happens, then it means we can launch immediately after the Seoul meeting. So that means we have a lot of work to do. Some of it is very practical oriented. We need the online application forms. We need to form the technical stability panels that are going to evaluate the strings. And we're going to form and finalize the linguistic processes for review. So there's a lot of practical things that needs to be done. And we have the time from now and until Seoul to get that finished. It's always great to have the IDN discussions. This is a very hectic meeting on the IDN topic, but it's great to see that we're coming into solutions, and it's going to be really great to be able to launch this by the end of the year. Thank you for listening, and please go online and make your comments in the public forum so that we can have a good sound solution that works for everybody.